Hello, I'm Dr. Arthur D. Kemp, the Hammond Doc. When I receive a request to evaluate a Hammond organ, the first thing that I look at on the organ is the AC line, because that is the conduit by which current flows from the outlet to the organ. That's what provides the power that the organ needs in order to function. So you need a good AC line running through that organ, because a number of things could happen if the power cord there in that organ is bad, it's brittle, for example. I mean, it could be a fire hazard. I'll show you what I mean. I have an AC line that I pulled from a Hammond organ right here. Here's one, and look at how brittle this is. And I took this out of a Hammond organ. This is a fire hazard. In other words, it could cause a fire inside of the organ, which could burn down a building, burn down a church, burn down a home, wherever the organ is. So this is the first thing I checked, is that AC line. Now, I've been watching some videos recently on YouTube relative to insulation, wire insulation, insulation resistance, because that's part of this is what we're dealing with, is brittle insulation here. I mean, this covering is supposed to cover these wires to keep the flow of current inside of the insulation. So the current shouldn't be escaping outward, but flowing inside of the insulation. And so in watching these videos, there were a number of insulation meters, insulation testers that I saw. And I wondered if any of those would be useful in my work. So I decided to buy a couple. And so what we're going to do today is try them out. The question is, would this be useful? Would these installation testers be useful, beneficial in assessing the AC line of a Hammond organ? In other words, are these insulation testers able to determine whether or not the AC line is good or bad or should be changed? Can they detect a bad AC cable? Well, let's do a number of tests here using 2 meters that I have, and we'll be able to answer that question momentarily. The meters that I purchased are this relatively inexpensive VC60B right here, and the more expensive Fluke 1587. So we're going to try out both of these meters. Let's start with the less expensive VC60B meter and see what happens. Let's start with a control wire. Now this wire I know is good. This is a new cable, a new wire. I have it connected to the alligator clips. I have this set at 200 volts because we're gonna run voltage through that line, and we're going to see look at resistance that is measured while running voltage through that line. Okay? And anything above 1 mega ohms is considered to be good. If it's below 1 mega ohms, that would be bad. Okay? So we want resistance. Okay, here we go. We have it set at 250 volts. I'm going to push the button. And there we got 19 mega ohms there. So this is a good wire. So you saw the number jump up. Here we go. There you go. 55. So the number jumped up, giving us indication that this is a good wire. Let's turn this off, and we'll use now the Fluke meter to do the same test. I have a probe here. Let's turn this on. All right. I'll move this up so you can be able to see the numbers when I hit it there. All right, and I'm going to hit the test. (110 mega ohms). So this is testing good. Alright, so that's what we expected for it to test good. Now, let's test one that is known to be bad. Let's test a cable that I know is obviously bad. That's our control. Move it out of the way. Let me show you one right here. Now this one. Look at this. I pull this out of a Hammond organ. A Hammond C3. Okay. Turn it on. Now this is known to be bad. I have it set at 100 volts. That's what I have this set at. Now I have on my probe I have a test button that I can use, and so I'm going to use the test button on the probe. I have a button right here, so I'm going to use that instead of pushing this installation test button. It does the same thing. But let's move you back here so you can see what comes up on the meter when I push the button. And it's less than 1 mega ohm when I push the button. That means this cable is obviously bad. And it is. I mean, you can see that. Alright? You don't need a ohm, or you don't need a insulation multimeter, insulation meter of any type to know that that's a bad cable. You can look at it and tell. It's obvious. Alright. Now, let's go over here to the VC60 and conduct the same test. This with high voltage, so you have to be very careful what you're doing here. Okay, now I'm right here. Now this again is obviously bad cable. The lowest voltage rating it gives me is 250, so I'm going to be shooting 250 volts through here. Here we go. And it when I let it go, it gives me 13. It gives me I'm getting numbers there, and I shouldn't be getting anything. It should be on 0. It's on 0 when I push the button. Let's go back to the good cable again. Use a good cable right here. Turn it back on. See what I get. So it acts very differently. I don't see a 0. So it acts differently. Now this is a good one. That's at 250 volts. I can change it to 500 volts. So you don't see the numbers jumping around and around places. It stays right there at 1. Now, let's look at a cable that looks like it could be good. However, I know that it is not, because it's brittle. In other words, here's the cable that looks like it could be alright, because someone left this in the organ, so they looked at it and thought it was okay. They didn't see any breaks, so they left it in the organ. But when I felt it, I could tell, oh, that's hard. And so, and I had a new cable with me, so I went on ahead and tried it out and broke it, and I could see it's brittle right there. So this AC cord deceived a technician who had done some work on this organ. Now, there was another, he changed out the cable for the light bulb, the light switch in that Hammond C3 organ. But he did not change out the main AC cord. And this was the main AC cord, because it was deceptive. Alright? So, let's try it out and see what happens. We're going to connect it to the Fluke. First of all, get it out of my way. And see what happens when we turn the Fluke on. Pan up to the Fluke screen. Alright, I'm pushing the test button, and I have this set on 100 volts. Now, let's go ahead and increase the volts on this. That's 250. That would be consistent with the VC60, 250. So we got 250. So let's go ahead and try it out now. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. Alright, let's test the button. It's showing 275 mega ohms. So the Fluke picks up on it. At 250 volts. Look at that. The Fluke picks up on it. The Fluke said this is a bad cord. Alright. 275 mega ohms. That need to be 0 if that was a good cord. Alright. So the Fluke picks it up. Let's turn on the VC60 and see what we get. Alright, here we go with the VC60. Push the button. VC60 doesn't pick up on it. The Fluke meter said that this is a bad cord. But the VC60B didn't change. Let's put 500 in there. Let's see if that did anything. So the VC60B is acting like this is a good cord, whereas the Fluke 15 1587, my expensive meter, identifies this cord that was left in the Hammond C3 organ by another Hammond organ technician. Now, like I said, that Hammond organ technician saw that the AC cord, the AC line going to the light fixture above the pedals was bad and changed it out. I could tell that was a brand new line in there. But this cord was left in there. And just looking at it, I couldn't tell that it was bad just looking at it, because it was it just didn't appear like it was just looking at it. So what I did was with everything unplugged, of course, I touched it. And when I touched this line, I could tell just on the basis of feel, wait a minute, that's hard. That's hard. And I knew it was too hard. And it wasn't supple at all, the way it should have felt. And it was stiff. And so then I was able to do this, and it cracked. So I knew that this was a bad AC line. And that's what caused me to begin wondering if there was an instrument that would be able to detect the bad cord, even if I wasn't able to see a bad cord in the Hammond organ. And you saw the test results that we just got. The test that we just ran showed me that the VC60B was unable to detect, while able to detect good chords, and able to detect an obviously bad AC line, one that was looked like a fire ready to happen. Now the VC60B was able to determine that's a bad chord. But when it came to this chord, the VC60B thought it was good chord. However, my Fluke 1587 picked up on it and said, Hammond Doc, you have a bad chord, a bad AC line. So, final results, my conclusion is that on a job, I would take this Fluke 1587 and I will now add this to my evaluation of the Hammond organ. So not only will the first thing that I do would be to look at the cord, to inspect it visually, and I'll touch it tactily to see how it feels. But I will also use this meter as a third method for evaluating the AC line in a Hammond organ, because I believe that this can be useful. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for your time and for watching this video. This is Dr. Kemp, the Hammond Doc, saying to you, peace out.